So we have a lot of information to talk about with the Galaxy Z Fold 4, and it starts off right away with a couple of images posted by Ice Universe right here on Twitter. So starting off right away, Ice Universe is a known leaker, so we have to keep in mind that every time a leaker says anything, it's not 100% guaranteed. What they say is factual, but most of the time, they're not saying something just to say something. They say something for a reason, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about what he is saying. So he has right here the Galaxy Z Fold 4 cases. So this is what the cases actually look like. And if you guys have seen anything of my videos, you know I have been talking very much about how the Galaxy Z Fold 4 is going to have a bigger outer display, a bigger inner display, less of a hinge, and be pretty much overall wise a more screen to body ratio device. And that's what we see right here. So this of course is the outside, the outside cover, the back and the front. And then the inside, actually this is when it is together. And what you can see right away is, yes, the whole entire thing looks a tad bit different. Now, if you're saying how much different does it look, here is what it looks like for Z Fold 4, and here's what it looks like for Z Fold 3. Show you again. Yeah. So one thing you're going to realize right away is the outside display is going to be a little bit bigger on the Z Fold 4 case, like I just said. And you can see right here, this is a little bit more tall and skinny, while the Z Fold 4 is a little bit less tall, more wider outside display, which a lot of people have said many times. I've seen a lot of comments about this. People say, hey, we want a bigger outside display. And it looks like what Samsung is doing with the Z Fold 4 is not only is it going to be cheaper, only is it going to be improved. They are worrying less about doing a gimmick, giving us this and this as a gimmick, and more worried about actually giving us a device that everyone's going to love. They're actually trying to make a huge improvement to this device. And they're trying to compete with all these other, foldable phones coming out. I gotta say, they're doing a pretty dang good job. So, starting off right away, that's what we have there. Now let's skip forward, because here is another image of the Z Fold 3 and Z Fold 4's case. So this is, again, going to be side by side here. I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself so you can kind of see this a little bit better. And first thing you're going to see is, first off, the hinge. Look at the hinge area. See how much thinner and smaller that hinge is? Number two, your eyes don't deceive you. It's going to be shorter. It's not going to be as tall as the Z Fold 3. It's going to be shorter. So also, again, like I said before, look at the left side, look at the right side. What do you see the difference of? The outside display is a lot thinner on the left side with the Z Fold 3. Now, the back case looks almost identical, except the camera cutout looks a little bit bigger on the Z Fold 3. But what we do know in Z Fold 4 is we are going to get the Galaxy S22 Ultra's camera sensor. So it's going to be a 50 megapixel camera on the back of the Z Fold 4. So yes, it's going to be a little bit smaller of an overall setup, but it's going to have a camera sensor that's really freaking amazing. If you've seen the S22, you know how amazing that sensor is and how amazing that camera is overall wise. So it says right here, confirming the design of Z Fold 4, the width of A and B. And of course, this is what he's showing off. Let me go ahead and move this down for you guys so you guys can see. Again, shout out to Ice Universe for posting this. He says, confirming the design of the Z Fold 4, the width of A and B of the outer displays has significantly reduced and can be seen the hinge. So obviously B would be, I'm going to guess, yeah, so B would be the Z Fold 3, and then A would be the Z Fold 4. Yeah. That's how much smaller the hinge is, guys. Look at that. You guys see the hinge right there? The back of it is Z Fold 4's hinge. The front is a Z Fold 3 hinge. This is going to get crazy. They are changing this up, and with the price tag changing too, this is going to be so freaking insane. So here's another picture of this. This, of course, is the Z Fold 3. Left is Z Fold 3. Right is Z Fold 4. So you can see the hinge is so much smaller on the Z Fold 4 than it is Z Fold 3. And actually, my last picture, I was incorrect. My last picture, that is a Z Fold 3. I'm not sure exactly what he meant by that then. Cause I thought it was correct here when he said the difference. Yeah, I'm not sure, because that back hinge, I was assuming he meant that was the somewhat equivalent of what the Z Fold 4's hinge would look like, but it's not, because that is part of the Z Fold 4, unless he's talking about just the width of the difference between the Z Fold 4's outer hinge and inner hinge. But guys, this looks beautiful. This really looks beautiful. So let's talk about some specs and some things we can actually cover and expect going into this. So let me go ahead and pull this up for you guys, and let's go ahead and take a look at this, because the specs aren't going to be on paper the biggest changes, or how it looks, right? That's the biggest changes we're going to see with the Z Fold 4, is how it looks on outside. We're not going to see as much information on the inside as we will on, on other devices, other upgrades. We're going to see really a lot on the outside. So 100% accurate. Obviously, he's a leaker. It's not 100% accurate. Galaxy Z Fold 4, we have a 7.6 inch AMOLED 120 hertz outer display, inner display, a 6.2 inch HD Plus AMOLED 120 hertz outer display, a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 and 512 storage options. Rear camera will be a 50 megapixel, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10 megapixel 3x zoom lens. We will have an inner camera, a 4 megapixel under display camera, which will tick off a lot of people. But again, the reason why they have that, and the reason why it is an under display camera and all that, is because it has to be. It actually has to be. The point of it is that when you are using the inner display, that camera goes away. That camera disappears. And if you want to have it be a 100 megapixel camera on the inside, and you don't want it to be under display, well, I hate to tell you this, but it's just not going to work out for you then, because the whole point is it's supposed to disappear. That's why it's under display camera. And if it's on display and it's only going to be phasey and fuzzy by using it, what's the point of making it like a 10, 20 megapixel camera? No one's using that inner display camera for any purpose other than just having it. No one's using it as actual full one, like, oh my god, I need to take, crazy pictures. You have an outside camera for that. You have a 10, you have a 50, you have a 16, 12, and a 10. Now, keep in mind, this is somewhat of a downgrade, but still okay. So, last year's camera setup was a 12, a 12, and a 12. Now, it's going to be a 50, 12, and 10. A little bit different. The Surface Zero 2 has a 12, 16, 12. Keep that in mind. Android 12 will go ahead and ship with this. One UI 4.1.1. 4400 milliamp battery and 25 watts. Obviously does not say this, but it will go ahead and give us wireless charging. We'll have the same waterproofness, most likely, of last year's model. And that is pretty much that. So, yeah. I'm excited. I'm actually really excited. I can't wait to see how this ends up going out. I can't wait to see when this comes out what it looks like. I am very excited about this device. Might be one of the most exciting releases we've seen in a very long time. And I think it's going to be one of the best phones coming out. But this is my personal opinion. I love the Z Fold 3. So this makes sense to love the Z Fold 4, right? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.